purpose of this video is to give you some clues on the chemical reaction types and their equations lab. So this is the background, and there's some interesting information in here about different kinds of reactions, and this will be useful when you are doing your lab report. So let's go into the procedure. I'm not going to do the whole procedures for everything here. I'm going to do a portion of some of these just to give you an idea about how to handle some of the actions. I'm going to start with experiment 2. It's kind of similar to experiment 1 and uses similar kinds of manipulations. So it says take a new clean crucible from the container shelf, and there'll also be a balance. Balance was put here in the previous step. And you will have already weighed the crucible in the previous step. And then what you will do is you'll add 5 grams of this copper compound. Let's see if we can find it. There we are, copper 2 carbonate hydroxide hydrate. So that's the stuff that we're going to add here, and we're going to put in, looks like 5 grams. So just stick it over the crucible, type in 5, and you've got 5 grams here. You'll weigh this again, and then you will put it onto the Bunsen burner. Of course, you'll weigh it, you'll copy down whatever result you have here and stick it into your lab notes over here and save them. And you'll also now get a Bunsen burner, and you will need to see what happens as you put this on the Bunsen burner. I'll turn on the Bunsen burner first. You just do that by clicking this knob here. Keep it on a low flame, and then drop the crucible onto the flame, and you'll see that this setup will appear. Now you can click on this crucible here and click on show contents, and it will show you what's going on in the crucible. So initially you'll see that it's a sort of this greenish solid. You can zoom in on it, and you can see what changes occur as you heat it. And eventually what's going to happen is it's going to change into something else, and you'll be able to get an impression of what's going on there. Now it asks you to take this off, let it cool, and then you can weigh it again on the balance and get an idea of what the mass is now. And that'll give you some interesting clues to what might have happened during the reaction. Alright, so we can I guess clear off the bench here, and we'll go on to the next part. Next, it's a single displacement reaction. So 150 ml Erlenmeyer flask. That's what we've got here. We're going to add 15 mils of 6 molar hydrochloric acid. There we are. 15. So we've got 15 mils of hydrochloric acid in there. And we can double click on the Erlenmeyer flask and select to close it. And that'll put a stopper on top. Next we take a thermometer and connect it to the Erlenmeyer flask. Thermometer, there we go. We add 0.25 grams of zinc to the Erlenmeyer flask. Oops, sorry, forgot about the pressure gauge. Let's not forget about the pressure gauge. There we go. Now we can add in the 0.25 grams of zinc. So just put it over the flask like that, and it says to add 0.25, so that's what we'll do. So you'll see what happens is there's going to be certain temperature changes and changes to the number of atmospheres, and it says to try this again with 25 grams as well and see what happens. So you can do that by yourselves. Once this is it says wait for the Erlenmeyer flask to cool down, 21.5, remove the thermometer and the pressure gauge, and then you can continue on with the rest of the experiment here. Alright, so I'm going to clear off the bench. You can handle the rest of that. The syringe is in the instrument section. That's the one they're talking about here. Alright, clear the table. Next we take 2 50ml beakers from the container. This is a 50ml beaker. In one we're going to put sodium hydroxide, and the other one we're going to put nickel chloride. It says here that what you can do is you can label these. So you can double click on it, and if you want to you can label it NaOH for sodium hydroxide. Looks like you have to clear it out first. And then you can type in NaOH. And on the other one, see, now it says NaOH on it. And this one will do the same thing, except we'll put nickel chloride, NiCl2. So now I'll get my materials. Looks like I need 15 mils of each of those. Sodium hydroxide goes in here. It says 15 mils. And then 15 mils of nickel chloride. It's obviously going to be hard to confuse these two because one is clear and colorless. This one's green. So I think you'll know which one nickel chloride is. Then it asks you to pour one into the other and see what happens, and you all can do that on your own. Alright.